that kind of came into play when living in Antigua. And I guess it really formed my identity of just being a black woman and really appreciating being a black woman. And just being exposed to like stuff like carnival, because that was like my first ever experience of like a street party and carnival, and hearing like different types of music such as soca and
So
yeah.
what made them say that you were naughty, man?
I wasn't naughty.
No, you were.
I wasn't. I was a
South
really
London,
good kid.
Proper prop. Oh, no.
I'm a firm believer that experience teaches wisdom. As mundane as you may think your life is, it is beautiful in every single way, and there's so much that you can learn from it. The reason why Afrobeats is so huge is because you're Nigerians and most of the like Africa.
The rest of Africa will be very upset. But yes, you're right. Nigerians number one. Martins. Ladies and gentlemen, episode 2, Korak Podcast. And of course, as always, we have a special guest in the building. A Caribbean British lady that loves to talk about stories when it's entangled with a great element of music. Taking people back in time for them to give us where they started from with their musical nostalgia. She runs her own podcast, Nostalgia Podcast. Ooh. People, today is going to be fun. I give you a princess, a Caribbean queen, Victoria Pennant.
What an intro.
Man, people need to understand, man. I practice these things, man. I practice it in the shower. I'm everywhere.
In the shower. I love it.
No, yeah, different places. I'm sorry. Different places. How you doing? Welcome to Korak.
I'm good. How are you?
I'm all good. We are grateful and thankful, and as you like to say, blessed.
Yes.
To have you on the podcast. Well, ladies and gentlemen, as you all know, Korak Podcast production crew, BK Creative.
Hello.
Of course, yes. And today we are talking to Victoria about her background, the elements on which she believes music contributes greatly to society, what she wants to do moving forward with her podcast, and of course, just get your opinions on different things.
Yeah.
Different things. You ready? You sure?
I'm ready. Let's
good.
do this. Yeah.
So we usually start this podcast with a very simple situation. I mean, Korak is footsteps, and each footstep is a journey you're going on. And our slogan is destination established by that single step. So usually we start with one question. I'm going to start with two with you. Okay. I'm going to start with two with you. Where is that destination that you want to get to? That's one. And two, what was the first step you believe you have taken to start your journey?
Wow.
Oh, it's going to be a sweet one.
Wow.
It's going to be a sweet one.
So first question, where do I want to get to?
Yeah, where is the destination?
Where's the destination for me? In relation to my podcast or just in general?
With your podcast and with life in general.
With my podcast, I think I'm kind of seeing where it goes. So when I first started, I was really quite adamant, like it needs to be going in this direction. It needs to have this structure. It needs to have these many numbers. It needs to have these many views. I was really quite numbers heavy. But now I've kind of taken a step back and I'm doing it for the joy of it. I really want to work on building a community. I really want to like lean into events. I really want to take nostalgia live. I really want to connect with people, music in different ways. I got a few ideas that I want to kind of branch out and explore. So I'm kind of allowing myself to just build that momentum. We're just building consistency. We're just getting the episodes out there. We're just reaching out to people, interviewing new people and just finding new exciting guests. So I just want to build that momentum and kind of see where that takes me. But I have ideas in the background that I want to run with.
I like it.
But slowly but surely building to that, yeah.
So what was the first step? Why do you going through life and everybody is, building and trying to create these platforms that takes us back or forward and trying to push us in wonderful directions. I mean, the good thing about platforms is, which I like, and so, I'll give you the flowers while you can smell it. Hope you don't have hay fever. But it is, creating a platform that is not for you, but for other people, which is, it's a good gift when you can actually give back to people. So what was that first step you decided to go, you know what, I can do this, I want to do this? And why did you do it?
Wow. So thank you very much for my flowers.
Oh, yeah, please. Yes.
But
yes.
I
There'll
guess...
be more to come.
Thank you. I guess... the first step was, it was just an idea that was running around in my head. It was just something that I just wanted to do and wanted to explore. I think I was kind of spearheaded. Unfortunately, my father passed away, and it kind of, no, it's okay. I think it kind of motivated me to kind of fill a gap. I wanted to do something that was outside of my day-to-day job, but something creative and something that was meaningful to me. And I just love to talk to people, and I just love talking to people. I'm really curious. I love asking questions. I love digging into people's minds, but I also love to understand and hear why people love to listen to the songs that they do and what the stories are behind that. And I guess from that curiosity, that love for music, it just formulated this idea. And I was talking about it for ages. My friend Naomi will remember me sitting at work and be like, oh my gosh, I want to do this idea. Oh my gosh, I want to do this.
Shout out to Naomi.
Shout out to Naomi, man. I was chewing her ear off with this idea. And finally, I just took the plunge. I literally just got some like Amazon work vouchers for Christmas as my work gives them out. And I said, look, I'm going to get these mics. I'm going to sit down and just record an episode on my dining table.
It's interesting. I mean, the story of the different individuals we speak to. I mean, even that guy at the pub that's telling you about whatever he's telling you. It's funny. It's amazing how the story shapes people. So let me do a Stephen Bartlett on you, Victoria.
Yes.
For me to understand the person that you are today,
yes,
I need to know who you were before. So before you got into wanting, way before this idea came in and you were thinking of who was Victoria in terms of how did you grow up, family dynamic? Obviously, it looks like music was a big thing in the house. So take us back on that journey.
Okay. So I grew up in South London. Big up South London.
Big up. I like it how every South Londoner owns an imaginary gun. Like, big up.
Big up. I was born in South London and I grew up with my dad and my grandmother. It was just the two of us. My parents like split up when I was really young. And then later on in life, we moved to Antigua. And I lived in Antigua for like about 5 years. And I think that's where I really kind of learned how great music is. Like, so that's the first
when did
time.
You move? How old were you when you moved to Antigua?
I was 9.
So I mean, there's this. If you look at Victoria's Instagram, where she's trying to introduce herself to her followers and stuff, which according to her took her like 100 takes.
It really did.
So she actually described herself as Caribbean. So you moved there when you were 9, as you said, and did that automatically give you like an identification? Because it happens to a lot of people where, yeah, you were a South London girl, life was normal, you were eating meal deal with crisp and apple and stuff, and then you moved to Antigua.
Yeah.
Do you feel that shaped you like totally? Like
100%.
In what way?
100%. It really, I guess, allowed me to see the privilege that you have. Like, I think I was young, I was just taking for granted the fact that I have a computer in my room, the fact that I had like my own room, the fact that I just had, I don't know, just the opportunities to kind of just do whatever. I was pretty free flowing growing up, but moving to Antigua, I was realized like, oh my gosh, like there's some people that really haven't got that. They haven't got anything at all. Or just like, I guess the idea of like, I don't know, just really seeing the disparities of like hierarchy of society was really, that kind of came into play when living in Antigua. And I guess it really formed my identity of just being a Black woman and really appreciating being a Black woman, especially being in a predominantly Black space and area. It was like, oh my gosh, like there's people like me. I can walk around and just see people like me. So it really, really shaped me and who I am. It just made me really, even more so proud to be a Black woman, especially moving to Antigua and moving to the Caribbean, and just being exposed to like stuff like carnival, because that was like my first ever experience of like a street party and carnival, and hearing like different types of music such as soca and like calypso, and really hearing like
educate me, what is the, so you know how Jamaica is like reggae and St. Vincent is soca, I believe?
Yeah, like soca.
So,
or
what's
like
Antigua? And
Antigua would be like soca and calypso. It's just like a deviation of like reggae, but it's just like old school. I'm not an expert in music, so I'm kind of just spitballing it. But it's like steel pans. It's like the proper, just legendary, really old school kind of music of the islands, and it's just so beautiful and it's so lovely. And it just, reggae, I guess, is that evolution and that step ahead. But yeah, it's just.
So when you moved back with daddy and your nan?
I moved back by myself and I lived with my sisters.
Huh? So
yeah.
What made them say that you were naughty, man?
I wasn't naughty. No,
you were.
I wasn't. I was a really
London,
good kid.
Prop. Oh, no. One or two things has happened, man. They needed to send you back home because, so you know, Nigerian, being Nigerian and all, when your parents decided to send you back home.
I'm not Antiguan, I'm Jamaican. My dad just decided to go to Antigua. He was just like, I want something different. I think at the time he was just like, I think Tony Blair was the prime minister around that time. He was just not feeling it. He was not feeling England at all.
That is even even worse, man. You're not helping your case. They didn't even send you back home. They sent
me
you somewhere
to Antigua.
else.
No, no. I think like things happen. Things didn't necessarily work out the way my dad wanted things to work out. So unfortunately, he had to move back to England.
Yeah.
I stayed with my grandmother. We lived there for some time, and then I came back and I lived with my sisters.
So so help me out here. So family dynamic. How many siblings do you have?
So there are 6 of us.
6 of them. Okay.
So I'm the only child between my parents.
Okay.
There's four daughters on my dad's side, and then 2 boys and a sister on my mom's side.
Okay, that's cool. And so at the time that you went to Antigua, how did you speak to your mom? Did you see her most of the time?
No, I wasn't in contact with my mum until I was about 13. So I actually met her when I was 13, and then I went to live in Jamaica.
Okay, so Antigua at 9, then you came back to England first.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Then you met mommy. How was that experience?
It was surreal.
Did you have an image or no, not an image, wrong word. Did you have like an expectation of what you were hoping your mom to be in terms of as a person?
Not really, no. I guess my dad always said these beautiful things about my mum, and he never said a bad word about her ever, even the fact that they weren't together. But I did have this.
Oh, he still loved her.
He just, I don't know. But yeah, I guess I had pictures of her, and I spoke to her on the phone like a couple times when I was growing up. But seeing her, because it was a surprise. My sisters my mum linked up with my sisters. She picked me up from school, and I just knew it was her. Like, it was just so surreal. She just picked me up, and I was just like, that's my mum.
This is how you know things have changed now, man. Because there's no way a woman that you don't know will come and pick you up now. There is no. Don't you try it. Don't you try it. So she picked you up, and that was it. The relationship started.
So
did you have like million questions to ask?
Of course. I was young, had loads of questions, but I think I was just more kind of spending time with her. And I think she was there in London for about 2 weeks. And then we decided that she wouldn't want to take me back to Jamaica. So I lived in Jamaica for a year with her and my stepdad and I will call her my grandmother.
I got to ask this, man. I got to be dirty, man. Jamaica, Antigua, man. Which one did you prefer? I mean,
Jamaica, man.
Well, you spent just 1 year. So the 1 year in Jamaica triumphed the how many years in Antigua?
Definitely. I think Antigua's quite a small island. You can drive around the island about 3 hours.
Okay.
Jamaica's a little bit larger, but it's my culture. It's my home. I felt so much more connected to Jamaica. I have a huge family in Jamaica. So just seeing everyone, learning about my grandparents, learning about where they came from, just solidified and just cemented for me, like, yeah, this is home. And I go back every year. So I'm going back in a couple of days. So yeah.
Okay. So we are going back in a couple of days, right?
Yes,
because
don't
of
forget
course.
me,
Like,
no,
of course. Like, there's space, guys. Like,
okay, great.
So in terms of musically, so one of the things I like to understand musically is I like the different dynamics or different ways people get into music. And your platform, Nostalgia Podcast, ladies and gentlemen, please check that out. It's literally when you listen to the episodes that I've listened to on your podcast and you're trying to understand where the individual and how music takes them back to where they used to be. Let's have a small run of you being the guest on your podcast. I give you Nostalgia Podcast style. So, Victoria. So when you think about Antigua, when you think about Antigua, what's the first song that comes to your head?
Ooh. I'm probably going to butcher the way I'm pronouncing it, but the Iron Bazodi, it's like a soca song. It's like an old school soca song. I can't remember who sings it, but that's the first one that comes into my head. That was the first time I learned how to dance, like to proper wine, like as a young girl. That was in Antigua, and that was like. Oh.
I mean, that should come genetically, though. I mean,
it was there, but it probably was laying dormant because I wasn't really I wasn't doing that.
You had to like kick it up.
It's like music needs to be there. The vibes needs to be there. You know what I mean? I needed to be on the road, dancing, experiencing it. And yeah, that's where I learned how to wine. But that is a song for me. Like every time I hear that song, I do think of Antigua. I think about my first carnival. I think about how amazing that was, how euphoric, and it was just everything. And ever since then, I'm determined to try and go to carnival at least, every year.
So Antigua has its own carnival. Jamaica has its own carnival.
It does, yeah.
So what song reminds you, when you think about Jamaica, what's the one song that you think of?
Of Jamaica, when I think of Jamaica? Yeah. I can't think of one song. I will think of the Movado and Vybz Kartel clash that was going on. Yeah. So that was an absolute epic clash
Well,
of
so the 1 year
songs.
you were in Jamaica,
Yeah,
that
that's
was when it was
oh my,
happening. Well,
yeah.
so apart from the music clash, so obviously musically they were going at each other. Was there anything, you know how like you have hip hop beef and stuff? Was it as deep back then when they were going at each other in Jamaica?
Yeah, it was, but it was. I think Jamaica's more leaning on how lyrically can you slaughter this person. Like it's really about the lyrics. It's not like we're taking it to heart and oh my gosh,
Yeah.
you know, people should actually die and whatnot. I think it's just how lyrically you can slaughter them and how well and how skillful you can do that. And I really just admired how these artists will, like, it was non-stop. It was like one person drops a song and next person drops a song. Like it was like, it just wasn't stopping. It just didn't, the momentum was just there and it was crazy and it was amazing.
How big would you say that was for the music industry in Jamaica? Did you so obviously it was big in Jamaica and people loved it, people enjoyed it, as you said, music, tunes upon tunes, but how big do you think that actually helped music in Jamaica and rest of the world? Because I knew there was beef, because obviously you like the music and you like to see what's happening.
Sure.
I think I was more Vybz Kartel though. I think I'm leaning towards Vybz. I think so.
Okay,
I think he has Vybz catches you, gives you that shoulder bob more than Movado. Give you like Movado. But how big do you think that helped in terms of the music in Jamaica worldwide?
Yeah, I think it was a good opportunity and I guess a good gateway for people to learn about dancehall music and really to understand dancehall music and to kind of like catch on. Because I was young at the time, so I wasn't necessarily thinking about the effect of what is happening around the world.
The effect for you was the whining. The whining came out.
It
came out from somewhere.
It was a time, like it was an absolute time. Like I remember friends, we used to take these buses called the coaster buses. Like it's like these quicker transport and like private transportation that you can take rather than taking like the government buses.
Yeah.
And they drive pretty reckless, but they drive really fast and get you to your destination. And it's a little bit more money than you'll pay for the government buses. And there used to be parties on these buses, like actual parties on the bus. I used to encourage my friends. I know they're going to kill me, but me saying this, but I used to encourage my friends that did not live in the area that I lived in to take the bus with me so we can party on the bus. And then the bus driver would like drive them back to just drop them off so they can get their way home. It was fun times. So
I like it how you describe this 1 year in Jamaica. Somebody listening to the thing, oh wow, my God, she was. So what then happened after 1 year? You came back to England. How did you feel? How did you feel about Vybz Kartel and coming back to, I don't know, E17 or something, whatever was playing at the time? What was the transition like?
It was an interesting transition. I guess I felt like I had to catch up to like British culture. I would think for that year, I just felt so out of the loop because it was quite a formative year. I think I missed out in year 8.
Yeah.
So I think I came back or missed out in year 9. So those are like really formative years, I believe, as you're growing up and being a teenager. So coming back, I was a bit like, I don't know this music. I don't know the culture. I don't really know what's going on. I felt like I had to catch up. So yeah, it was an interesting transition. I was able to do it, but I definitely came back a different person. I was completely different. I felt more in touch with my culture, like meeting my mum, like that was a big step. That was a whole big transformative process for me to meet her and just how it defined me as a woman. And yeah, making that connection back with my mum after not kind of living with her and seeing her for so many years. So it was I came back so different. I feel like I came back softer and more like chilled and calm. But yeah, just to catch back up with the British culture. And even to this day, because I haven't lived in London or England for like such a long time, from like 9 to 13 and then a little bit and then went again and came back, I do feel like there's a big chunk of British culture that I'm not connected to. I feel quite...
What chunk would you say that is?
I guess like...
I mean, first of all, let me break this down for you. So, you know how sometimes there's certain cultures that we refuse to actually let it be part of us. We refuse. So it's like, I think typical examples. Like, I grew up in a town where you could have two people that live. So my house could be here and somebody's else is there. And we're having a conversation, shouting, and the other house is in between and people listen to the conversation. And then you move to London where people hardly talk to each other. I refuse to be that people not talking to each other kind of guy. Yes, I know you see, when in Rome, do as the Romans do. But I refuse that. I'm like, nah, man, this is who I am. I think, the ability to learn different cultures. But when you say you miss a big chunk, do you feel you miss a big chunk because you were growing up or just like, nah, man, I'm not going to do this?
It was more because I wasn't a part of it. Like, So I know there's like a huge channel, like, you know, Channel U, just being around the time where you, like, everyone had Sony Ericssons. Like, I miss that kind of opportunity, that those nostalgic bits of British culture I'm not necessarily well connected to.
Yeah.
I understand it and I know that I was aware of it, but to really be entrenched in that time, I feel like I only had like a tidbit of that. Whereas I know a lot of my peers can remember that and be really entrenched in that time, whereas I was in Antigua just living a completely different life and I'm not as well connected. Obviously, like, I've grown up and obviously I've lived a good portion of my life here, so there's a good part of British culture that I am a part of, but from the formative years I do feel a little bit disconnected in the sense where, like, I'm like, oh, I don't really know this, or I'm not really like well in tune with this, but I love hearing about it and I love learning about it.
When you were in the Caribbean, did they look at you as like, who's this British chick?
Oh, 100%. I got teased. I got teased for my accent, for how I spoke, just absolutely everything. Like, they would just rip into me because I was so different.
So now that we're thinking about it, and try not to be biased here. Okay, in fact, I'm gonna try not to be biased.
I'll try.
What island? Because Jamaicans will always say it's them. But what island would you say has the best diversity when it comes to music in the Caribbean?
Wow.
Because like, you know, when I asked you originally, so you have Jamaica, you know, the best reggae, blah blah, and this best soca, all that. But in terms of diversity of music, what island would you think has the best? Where is the one place? So if I'm a multi-diverse kind of guy when it comes to music, I like everything apart from metal rock, because that is just noise. Sorry, people. But so if I decide, okay, I want to go somewhere where today I can listen to this type of music and listen to that type of music, from your understanding and your knowledge, which island points to, oh, come, multi-diversity in terms of music? Be careful now. Be careful now.
Okay, I'm going to be honest. Like, I can't answer that fairly.
Yeah.
Because, again, I was so young living in Antigua.
I mean, even not back then. When you think about it now.
Just
well,
now.
Yeah,
I would say Jamaica. I would say Jamaica.
Obviously. So, no bias.
But no, it's no bias. I go to Jamaica frequently. I'm Jamaican. Yeah, I would say Jamaica. We listen to everything. There are sub pockets of Jamaica, and there's people that listen. There are people that listen to rock, soft rock. There's people listen to everything. There's loads of different subsections of cultures, and it's particularly musical cultures, I think, everywhere. From the last episode that I did, one of the last episodes I did with Rave Report, she really highlighted that to me.
Shout out to Rave Report, man.
I
want you on Korak, just so that, you know, yeah.
Shout out to Rave Report, honestly. Like, and even thinking about Jamaica as a whole, yeah, there's hundreds of different subsections of people that listen to particular types of music. Because if you think about it, like, the dominant sound or the dominant music will be dancehall. Like, everyone will listen to dancehall. Everyone will know dancehall. So after a while, you're going to get a bit tired of it. You want to listen to something else. So you're going to be searching. You're going to be finding other things to listen to. And yeah, off the back of that, there are definitely subcultures and different people that listen to songs. Because I will even come with my chest and be like, oh, guys, hear this song. And they'll be like, yeah, but we know this.
Yeah, this is old.
This is nothing. Like, come again, girl. Like, do you know what I mean? Yeah. But yeah.
So you came back to England and all that, and you're moving forward, you know, going through life, getting back into some British culture. You met your mom. Things were going okay. So when you fast forward to when you decided to, what made you actually think, why is it so big? Obviously, the name of your podcast is Nostalgia.
Yeah.
Why do you think, because we have certain situations in life where people tell you, forget the past. The past is rubbish. Look forward. Don't look backwards. But why do you think it's so important for people to go back on that journey and actually get that feeling of the kind of music that, you know, formulated their growth and their, you know, their journey? Why is that important?
I'm a firm believer that experience teaches wisdom. I'm a firm believer. And I think the only way that we can learn that wisdom, or the only way that we can really learn and really understand those lessons, is to have some introspection. And it's to look back on the things that have shaped us, the moments that have shaped us, the people that have shaped us. And off the backdrop of that, the music that has potentially shaped you. Because, like, whatever experience, or whatever you kind of live, whatever life that you've lived, you will listen to music at some point. And I know, like, it's kind of hard to think or believe that we all listen to music. Like, every single one of us interacts with music in some way, shape or form.
Does music, how big do you think music shapes you though? So, by shape, first of all, maybe my definition of shape. So by shape, I would say, so, I mean, we've had this conversation before when I told you, so my music love, I dedicate to my parents. Very different sets of music and the encouragement to listen to new stuff at the time.
Mm-hmm.
Although you know how the parents were back in the day, they had like a line where the new music stopped. They're like, what's this rubbish you people are listening to these days? But generally, so, but does it, when you say shape, does it contribute to who you are? Or or the period at which you are listening to particular music, does it make you, let's define your idea of what shaping is and how music does. What do you mean by shaping?
I guess it's more the fact that nostalgia, so the actual nostalgia is a form of you kind of like unlocking sort of memories. So that could be like scents, like things that you smell, things that you feel, things that you see, or, you know, like places that you see or back in your memories. But like music does that even more so. Yeah. So I guess it's more the fact that music is the gateway for you to kind of like have that introspection, to really think about like, okay, I can think of this song, I don't know, maybe around the time that I met my mum. So then that gets me thinking, okay, like what was going on around the time that I met my mum?
What is the song that you remember when you met your mum? Meeting her at 13 for the first
time. It's a song that she like relates to me actually. It's called Stay With Me by Ironic. It's a British song, old school song. And it was around the time that I associated that with my nephew, who passed away, God rest his soul. But my mum found that song so beautiful that she associates it with me. So now I think of her around that time, in that period when I met her. Yeah. That song really unlocks that memory for me. And it takes me down that kind of memory lane for me. So I guess, like I said, music is that gateway to really like for you to unlock those memories. And then if you want to, take that step further to think about, okay, what was happening around that time? Like, how was I really thinking? How was I feeling? Like, what did I learn from that experience? Or what can I take away from that experience? So I think I'm really big on introspection. I'm big on really having that. What are the lessons that I've learned? Like, how am I growing? How am I developing? Like, what has taken place for me to get me to the place that I am, and what can I maybe do that to like adjust those things or shape those things. So I'm really big on those things. So I really wanted to, I guess, allow people or give people the opportunity to do that, not in a very invasive way, like I'm therapy, like because I'm not qualified to do that. But music is that real soft, gentle way to allow people to kind of do that. And not only will it allow them to learn lessons, but I guess it will help me or other people, my guests or whoever who's listening or wants to listen and tune in, to maybe learn a lesson themselves. Because I learn so much from people just off the back of the conversation that I had with them, hearing their stories, hearing their life lessons, or just learning from their experiences, or just hearing their experiences. And I think that's the beauty in really learning from one another, really allowing us or giving each other the platform to really just tell our stories. As mundane as you may think your life is, it is beautiful in every single way, and there's so much that you can learn from it.
Is there a possibility that the story doesn't actually match the music with the gateway? So is there a possibility that somebody could go back and think about stuff and think about situations that happen, but it's not particularly linked to a song or a type of music? Have you ever found that situation, you know, because you blend the music and you also like to understand the story, because, you know, both situations help. So, for example, when you go, okay, what were you listening to at like I can always tell you that my love for classical music came from Sunday mornings when my dad is getting ready for church. He's playing all the different, you know, classical music. You always start. It's like Sunday morning. Primarily, just always started. You always know it's Sunday when you're bum, ba-dum, bum, bum. You just know. Oh, here we go. Go to church. It's a different music playing when we're going to church. I understand but I had people that their parents didn't play music at home.
Sure.
They can probably still tell you a good story of whatever takes them back. But how do you unlock that situation if there's no like musical element in taking them or when they go back?
I think I'm really, again, because I'm not a therapist, I'm not a professional.
Man, we're going to ordain you one, man. This is Dr. Victoria here, ladies and gentlemen, musically touching the brain to bring out, you know, your shaping. Yeah, but don't worry, we'll get that degree later.
One day. Yeah, because I'm not qualified. So I don't want to push anyone to places that they don't want to go. It's not my job to do that.
Obviously, I'm not saying pushing, but it's in terms of because the key thing for me is, I like, the reason I was asking for shaping is I'm comfortable sitting down anywhere regardless of the music.
Sure.
Once again, apart from metal rock. But I'm comfortable, and that's just because I have tried metal rock. I went for a concert. I lasted 10 minutes.
You went to a concert? Wow, you really did put yourself in the deep end.
£10 ticket. I was like, man, I wore black t-shirt. It was me and my brother. We went there. The guy said the name of the song. The guy said, I've been hit by a bus. The song started. I didn't hear the word bus throughout. I didn't even hear anything apart from this and that. I lasted 10 minutes,
Up
2
to that,
whiskeys, and then I left. So I tried.
You tried.
I really tried.
You genuinely tried.
Yeah. But I could be comfortable sitting down anywhere because
Sure.
I've had that diversity put to me, growing up. And as you say, I can tell you, this song, I remember this, I remember that. But sometimes some people are just like, I don't know. Yeah, hip hop. Yeah. Like I was saying, when you find people like that, how do you, we're not saying you're a therapy, how do you like get them to like kind of think about stuff?
Okay. I guess it's like trying to dive in, like just dive into deep, like why did you choose this? Like what is the vibe that you're feeling around this song? Like what does this song make you feel? Where does this take you? Do you remember where you were? I think the good gateway question is, do you remember where you were when you first heard this song? Because then that could be a story in itself. Like how did you stumble upon this song? Like what was that process of you going through that song? And then that might unlock a story in terms of, okay, I was maybe like going on YouTube or searching it, or this is what happened around the time that why I was searching this YouTube. And then that unlocks different stories and that unlocks different avenues for me to kind of like take the conversation slightly. But again, I don't want to push anyone to places that they don't want to go. I'm really like giving them the platform and the space to say whatever they want to say. And I might nudge a little bit, but I'm not trying to be...
I mean, it's their journey. So
exactly,
you let them drive.
Exactly.
I mean, thinking about, where were you? What were you thinking? What happened? That kind of music. I'm curious about, in terms of, so you came back, you learned how to whine and you were good to go. You came back, British culture, all that good stuff. Things were going well. Now, shout out again to Naomi because, as you said, you were eating her ear out. So when did the idea of the Nostalgia podcast, when did it actually pop into your head and why?
When did it actually pop into my head? Again, I was looking for I think I was just trying to fill a gap. I was looking for something to fill a gap, to fill my time. I think like me being busy is the most productive thing to do when you're going through something. Like I was grieving, of course. So I just wanted to kind of keep myself as active, as busy as possible. So my dad was a producer. My dad taught me how to use a computer. He taught me how to edit. He taught me how to do videos. He taught me everything that I know on top of my degree of how to kind of go into sort of like media or do media stuff. So I think it was almost like unbeknownst, an homage to him to do something like this. It just felt right. I was just curious about music, curious about people, curious about their stories. I used to do this. I used to do games night a lot. And we used to play this game where everyone goes around the room, someone picks a song, and then the next person has to pick a song in relation to that song, like in sort of like an association or in the same genre, in the same era. And I used to be like, but why did this person pick this song? Like, how did this person find this song? And like, you used to have just questions that were running around my head. And it just kind of built on that. I'm just really curious. And there is this BBC show called Desert Island Discs, where people come into the show and they choose like 5 of their like tracks that they would take on the desert island with them. So I guess it's like almost like a built-on version of that, like 5 songs, rather than what you take on the desert island. What are the most nostalgic songs? What are those songs that really touch you and like never let you go? Because for me, I have those songs like deep in my heart that are associated with people, places, things that I will never let go. It's not something that I would listen to in rotation all the time, but it will be something that I would like go back to. If I want to think about my dad, I'll listen to this song. If I want to think about my mum, I'll listen to this song. Or different people in my life, I have associated them to like songs and music. But yeah,
I have some different musical questions for you. So as we move along, so I'm just going to pop them every now and then. So first of all, what's the song that reminds you of Naomi?
Oh my gosh, Naomi.
Yes, because she took a lot of the ear chewing when you were thinking of thinking about this idea. So when you in respect and thankfulness to Naomi and her being a good friend, what's the song that reminds you of Naomi?
Naomi. You got me in the spot there. Ooh. I'm going to say, this might be a bit of a cop-out, but I'm going to say we did it. So me, Naomi, and my other friend, Tope, we did an episode, and it was just a random one. We was at Naomi's house just chatting. And we were like, there's no songs that are for women about like women friendships without being in relation to men or relationships. And we really like went deep into it and thinking about like, what is like a relationship song that has nothing really to do with like male. So we thought of girls, Destiny Child, but it's like in relation to, you had a breakup.
A song pops into my head.
Go on, listen.
For good times and bad times, I'll be on your side forevermore. That's what friends are for.
But for women, just purely for women.
It was sung by, what's her name? Blessing, do some Googling, man. It was sung by...
Let's
do some Googling.
pull it up.
Old school, That's What Friends Are For. Probably 80s or 70s. What's her name again?
Maybe we weren't looking that far back.
Yeah, my music catalog. Yeah, but it was a good song. You should listen to it. Oh, hey guys, sorry to interrupt your episode. I hope you can please subscribe, hit that notification button so we can get more and wonderful, incredible guests and you can continue to listen to the Korak podcast. Till then, more thanks. Go back to the episode. Yeah. So anyway, so you guys were thinking of,
We were thinking of that song and we found Brandy. Oh God, I can't remember the song now. I think it's called Girlfriends. We found Brandy and we found another song sung by a white woman, but I don't remember her name. But yeah, we found those songs. So I think Brandy is that song, I guess that girlfriend song for her and in relation to that time and that period that we had. But I would say for Naomi, a standout song.
Naomi, you better listen to this.
Girl,
man.
you really put me on the spot, Julian, man.
You better listen to this, Naomi.
You know I love you, girl.
She needs to think of a song.
I really need to think of a song for you. But yeah, I do remember that time and I think I would associate that Brandy song.
What is your best genre of music? Considering the fact that you probably listen to a lot of people give you like different playlists.
Yeah.
You listen to a good spectrum of music.
Mm-hmm.
If you had to pick a favorite genre of music, what would that be?
It would be R&B, neo soul. I am through and through a neo soul chill kind of vibe girl. Like if I want to just listen to something, just to have something in the background, it'll be that.
Do you have a favorite neo soul artist?
Jill Scott.
Oh, Auntie Jill. Auntie Jill.
Jill
Scott, taking the blueprint from your podcast. When you hear Jill Scott, it reminds me of the first Jill Scott song I heard was "Give Me." Well, it's spelled "Gimme." Gimme.
Yeah.
And that was university. God, that was my dress up song because where they start dum 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 dum
yeah.
That is regardless of where you are, man. That's good. But one thing that Jill Scott reminds me of is, when I say like my parents are always underlining like, oh, what's this new music stuff? I don't want to listen to this.
Mm-hmm.
Jill Scott I remember I was listening to it in the living room and my dad walks in and what's the name of the song where she's walking? She's just walking and singing.
Long Walk.
No, is that
Let's take
there you go.
Yeah.
And I remember my dad just like looking at the TV.
Mm-hmm.
So I was confused. I was like, do you fancy this woman? Or what? But he was like, man, this is somebody that's walking. You don't hear the in her voice, and the music was just, it caught him. Jill Scott, man, reminds me of that period. So Jill Scott, favorite R&B?
Favorite R&B?
Dead or alive? Pick one.
Put me in the spot. She told me to prepare these people.
I know. I didn't want you to. I wanted to see. I wanted to come naturally.
You're really coming like.
Yeah, I wanted to come naturally.
Who's coming on the top of my head for R&B? You're making me go through like all my Spotify songs. Literally. That's a hard one, man. There's too many good people. I don't listen to albums. I ease off listening to albums. I listen to songs.
Yeah.
I listen to just purely tracks. If I really like the artist so much, then I would dive into their album. So it's really hard for me off the dome to just think of an R&B artist. Can I get my phone?
Please feel free. Check.
Please.
Feel free. You need to check. We're checking many things now.
I'm checking many things.
Google lesson that's going on. You found the song?
Have you found the song?
Nah.
See, Julian.
I wish I could sing and you can shut down my voice. You can shut down my voice. Let's see.
Cleo Soul, but I say she was more neo soul-y, but Cleo Soul is definitely someone I have heavy on my rotation.
Okay. What do you think about R&B today? I've had this conversation and had these arguments many times.
We had it on my show, innit?
Yeah, I did. What do you think about R&B? What do you think? Do you think it's still a force? Do you think is it?
Yeah, 100%.
Is it, or has it just become stale?
No, I definitely think it's a force. I think it is so multi-dimensional and multi-genred. It's like, it's so layered now. It's so, you can get different forms of R&B, like dark R&B was a new one that I've heard, like alt R&B. There's so many different places, or trap R&B. There's so many different spaces and places that R&B can go. And I think it's beautiful that we have those different spaces and places that you can kind of tap into. I definitely still think it's a force. I think maybe the fact that we're questioning if it's a force, if it's like based on the blueprint of what we're used to. But I think it's the fact that it's evolved into these new subgenres and deep genres, and I love it. And I think it should expand and it should go to many places.
You're the first, when you think about it, that's actually a very good perspective. You're the first person that's actually put it to me that way, in terms of, so there's the major element of R&B is there, but there are like loads of subcategories. Exactly. And people, well, I mean, it's rhythm and blues, as they like to call it. Rhythm and blues, as they like to call it. So you like R&B, you like neo soul. Yeah. What is, when you're going out to dance these days, what is the music you're hoping to listen to?
I'll be like Afrobeats and dancehall will be the top ones. I like Amapiano. I know Amapiano is huge on the scene right now. I like it, but I don't know if I can listen to it all night.
After 1 hour, I'm good.
I don't know if I can listen to it all night.
To me, it's like Amapiano, and it's wonderful. Yeah, they're wonderful songs. The beats when you're going,
it's a vibe.
The song that is raining now, the challenge. Can't remember the name, but everybody's in there. So it's wonderful. But after 1 hour, which is why I don't understand what people do in Amapiano brunches. Because we're talking about hours and hours of people just shaking. It's like Amapiano, it's like drill music to me sometimes. It's the same beat, different songs. So after an hour, you're just like, although some people will probably say Afrobeats is the same, which I don't think so. I think they're different elements. But so your dancehall, your Afrobeats. Now, this is one thing I love when Caribbeans and Africans argue this.
Let's say that.
Dancehall or Afrobeats?
Yeah, but I'm gonna say dancehall.
No, don't be biased.
It's not about me being biased. Okay, listen, I'm a proud Jamaican woman. I'm gonna say dancehall.
I'm a proud something. So why dancehall though? Why dancehall?
There's a vibe. There's just something about dancehall music that is just. It's the patois. It's how they lyrically form their words. The wordplay, just the whole vibe of dancehall just speaks to me. It literally just, I was a dancehall head. That's all I used to listen to for a good portion of my life. I was just purely dancehall. I didn't listen to any other genre. And yeah, it's just innate to me. It's just a vibe.
Dancehall has always been on the map. Wonderful classical genre of music is still there. It's had its, what will I call it? It's had its downtime a bit, where people are not releasing as many dancehall songs. I think when you think about the old dancehall classics, amazing. I actually believe that one of the reasons dancehall hasn't been able to pop back up as it used to be is because the new dancehall songs are not as good as the old ones. With Afrobeats as new genre of music and it's coming out, everybody's jumping on it. Do you think Afrobeats could get to a point where it just becomes stale, like the way dancehall is?
I think
because when you think about it now, so because it's a new genre of music,
right?
Back then, when it came out, a lot of musicians were using like popular songs, then putting their lyrics on it. But now it's changed because it's going strength to strength. But do you see it becoming like stale at some point?
For Afrobeats, yeah. I think for dancehall it's a different. I guess the stagnancy of dancehall, I guess in the diaspora, because I think it's alive and kicking in Jamaica, of course. But I think more like in the diaspora is the fact that we don't have those solid artists that are championing dancehall. Like you had your Movados, you had your Vybz Kartels, you had those distinct big players that were like the face of dancehall.
Yeah, but what's stopping that though?
What's stopping? Because there's none that are reaching.
But the talent is not. They're not producing as much talent.
I don't think it's not that. I don't think it's a talent. I just think it's more. They need a huge backing behind them for them to get to that level that they can get to, such as Vybz Kartel, such as the Movados. It just needs that level of backing. And I'm not sure. I'm not well versed in it, and it's only just gonna be my opinion. But yeah, they just need that structure and that team to really.
This is your podcast, so we want to know your opinion.
No,
we
definitely.
Know your opinion.
But I'm just saying, like, I'm not an expert in this, but I just think, yeah, they need a solid team behind them to really like push them and put them in the places and spaces where they need to be. Like Shantia, for example, she was on a sick road to being that girl, and then she diverted and kind of became more commercial, and then she went to kind of like the US, and she kind of, her last album was really kind of poppy and USy, and now she's come back to her kind of dancehall roots, and now she's picking back up her momentum. So I think it's just staying the course, because I think sometimes dancehall artists will say, okay, I just want to make it big. I just want to make it big and foreign. I want to just get there and make it, rather than you kind of just creating the music for the people. Because if you continue to do that and go in that path, we will support you 100%. And I think it's just staying true to it. And I think not many artists have kind of got that space yet. So
that's actually a very good point, because when I think about it now, when people they start off in music and they get to a particular level, they get the popularity, then they diverse a bit, and then they come back. Is it difficult, or do you think it's harder for dancehall? Because Afrobeats, for example, is big and getting bigger. So a lot of people, other genres are trying to mix with Afrobeats.
Yeah.
So it is still sticking with Afrobeats. But Shanza just gave us an example. She went off script. Let's call it off script. And then, do you think she comes back better to dancehall? Does she come back better, more experienced, able to bring a new aspect of dancehall?
I don't necessarily think it's a new aspect. I think
like a subcategory, the way R&B, as you said.
Yeah, I think for the reason why I would argue the reason why Afrobeats is so huge is because you're Nigerians and most of the like Africa.
The rest of Africa will be very upset. But yes, you're right. Nigerians number one.
Okay, yeah. Nigerians number one. Are back in Afrobeats. You guys back, and you are for your Burna Boy, your Wizkid, your Davido. Like, you are for your artists, and you will back your artists. You are in full support. Like a Sake, bloody selling out the O2. Like, that's huge. And like, not that he just reached, but he dropped the album, and then you sold out a whole stadium. That's huge. Like, that's backing, and that's support.
They did the feasibility study. I mean, he did how many days in Brixton, the small O2?
Yes.
Yeah, so he did like a few days. So
he did.
When all those days were like fully sold, they're like,
he had to like,
this guy mad. Then Burna Boy, West Ham Stadium, because West Ham Stadium was 60,000 capacity compared to what's it called,
20,000 at the O2.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
So you can, and he's doing
West Ham again.
Yeah, this year. Yeah, so it is. They test it out. So, by you saying the same support and backing doesn't come to the dancehall artists?
I don't necessarily think the same support and backing doesn't come. I think it's more, we need those bigger artists to kind of like hit absolutely everyone. Not just us as a people. We need it to hit everyone. We want everyone to kind of hear it. Like Drift, that was that song that hit everyone. Everyone was listening to it. Everyone was hearing it. But TJ needs to now make a song that he needs to continue that momentum. He needs to continue on that track in order for it
TJ,
to feel
I hope
like
you're hearing this, boy.
100%.
I think I've like, it's the first time where I've like completely agreed with someone's answer. Like, I think she's opened up my eyes to see why. Like, for example, like what you're saying, all of the songs, when you think about the songs are bigger than the artists almost, where they create a song. But like, if you ask most people, yeah, I know that song. But who's the artist? They don't know.
Exactly.
Do you know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
But if you play a Burna Boy song, 9 times out of 10, you know it's Burna Boy.
There we go.
So I think that's already something that makes it difficult for dancehall to kind of propel itself, because you don't know the artist. You might hear the song and be like, oh yeah, I heard
that's
that.
a tune, but you don't know the artist.
So what's the first thing? So if you're listening to random songs, Spotify, wherever, and you hear a tune that you really like, the first thing you do isn't not to find out who the artist is.
But the thing is, I think with consumerism these days, you get a lot of people that listen to, like, there's people be like, oh, I listen to that song in the club or in the bar on a Friday, but they don't put it in because they associate those songs with those times. So they don't, for example, a lot of people associate dancehall with whining, for example. So you don't just listen to, not the average consumer doesn't listen to dancehall on a Monday to Friday.
I do.
Average consumer. I said, you know what I'm saying? Jay's not in that average consumer.
I whine on my seat.
You know what I'm saying?
Whine on my seat.
Like, you might not listen to Drift on a Monday in the office, but a Saturday at brunch, you're listening
You
to it.
hear
So
it, yeah.
that's where you're like, this is what I want to hear the song. So I think that's another difference. Whereas with Afrobeats, for example, and I know there's different types of dancehall, but with Afrobeats, you have like the chilled, like Ashake's album, that the one that we were just listening to the other day, you can listen to that on a chilled vibe, like just chilling in the office working. Can't really listen to Wine Up Under whatever.
Yeah.
But that's what I was asking you. Should like a subcategory be, would that be accepted by the dancehall fans? Could you get mild dancehall music?
But there is mild dancehall music.
You know, there is.
But in the name though, it's dancehall.
And this is
It's
where I'm
in the
saying
name.
the
It's dancehall.
consumer's already, as someone that's a consumer, you're already thinking, your association, it's almost like the stereotype of dancehall is, if I'm not whining, it's not dancehall.
There we go. There we go. Because
Oh.
there's some love songs. There's some love songs that dancehall artists will sing that you're like, what? Like, they're on next levels lyrically, but again, it just doesn't have, like you said, it's you just thinking of dancehall. You just must dance. Like, it just must be for parties. But there are subsections, but they're not pushed out as much, and it doesn't reach the diaspora as wide and as vast as songs like Drift or Brock Your Back or Dirty Wine.
Question.
or Dirty Wine will bring. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
A question to you then: why is it? I don't want to say that Africans have done it better, but why is it that someone can create music, come onto the scene? For example, let's use TJ for example.
Sure.
Jumps onto the scene, makes a worldwide song, because that song is worldwide.
Huge.
Do you know what I'm saying? Everyone's listening to that. Why is it that he can't then now do what someone like Ashake has done, where now Ashake is a household name now?
100%.
Like, people listen to him everywhere. Like, and it doesn't matter skin tone, where you're from, you listen to him. Why have they not done as well to be able to translate into more commercial, let's say?
Your opinion, obviously.
Yeah.
Your opinion.
Because I feel like that song Drift was a mixture of not only just dancehall, but a mixture of Afrobeat. Like, he was really quite intent. I think I saw it somewhere online. He was quite intentional in the beat that he used and the songs that he used and the sound that he used for it to become such a big hit. And it just caught on. It's simple. It caught on. But I think in terms of it not them reaching commerciality, it's just because we're making songs for us, I guess. I don't know. That is a real good question. I haven't got the answer. If I'm being real, I ain't got the answer.
No, I hear it, but at the same, because when who was that? When I went to watch Burna Boy, for example, at the O2, there was every single skin tone was there.
Right.
Doesn't matter if you, a lot of the songs that Burna's singing, I'm not like Jay, I'm not from his end, so I don't even understand what he's saying.
Big
But
up
I'm still,
Big Town.
do you know, I've seen Burna Boy 3 times now.
Yeah.
Do you know? Like, so I don't even think it's the question is almost like, what do they need to do?
What do they need to do?
Yeah.
I mean, I think it's the, and fun enough, this reasoning comes to me because of what you've just said. There is, and also what you're saying, Blessing, there is a stereotypical mindset of what dancehall is. And for example, when Afrobeats busting onto the scene did not come with that stereotypical mindset. It came as a generative, this is good music. And then you have other genres blending with that good music, and people, and especially human beings are funny because we tend to be drawn towards things sometimes that we don't understand. There are Shake songs, he sings in Yoruba. Most people don't understand what he's saying, but the vibe is wonderful. They're listening. I think it's, and because dancehall is way older than Afrobeats, that stereotypical mindset has been formed, and that's what is going to be difficult to break. So I think that's until you always get that one song or two songs that people will bring out and everybody goes, whoa. But I think the stereotypical mindset is still there.
But I think also because, like, at the minute, in terms of the culture, the dominating culture within the UK, it is African, particularly Nigerian culture, is the dominating culture at the minute.
Yeah,
and I
sure.
think that is why the music is being pushed out as consistently as it is being pushed out. Like a lot of people, like most parties that I will probably go to, like, you know, I don't know, most parties or most places that you're going to, they will play Afrobeats without a doubt. But you have to specifically ask the DJ to play dancehall or to play certain tracks. And he might play like the old school generic drift or songs, but to go to like actual dancehall songs that maybe not many people might know about, they won't necessarily do that because they're obviously catering to the dominant culture that is, you know, a part of it. Because even when I went to Coca Cure that time, there was a dancehall section where my cousin was absolutely loving it because she's from Jamaica. We got to listen to our music, which was amazing. But hardly anyone in the club was dancing because no one knows these tunes. You might know a little bit TikTok snippet, but you're not knowing the tunes the way that maybe me and my cousin will know the song. So I think at the minute, particularly in the UK, Afrobeats is dominant culture. In terms of like dancehall and Caribbean music, not that it's not happening, not that it's not about, but for the minute in the most prominent spaces, that's what's playing. So I think that's why it's getting the airplay. That's why it feels like it's a bigger thing. 100%. Could still believe that there needs to be dancehall artists that need to continue on their course and continue to do what they do, really push themselves out there and stay on the track and be as big as the Movados and the Vybz Kartel, so we can have another resurgence. But I think at the minute, this is the dominant culture that is kind of like happening at the minute.
In another way, and this might be, I don't even want to start looking down on black people because it's black people as a culture. A lot of these people come from spaces where they haven't been exposed to the lifestyle that they're living. Once the song drops and they're making the money and the labels come in. Do you think it's also a thing where, let's say for example, Jay back in the day, living in the streets, kicking ball,
the hood,
no boots, and then he makes one song. All of a sudden, he's got 6-7 figures in his bank account. Him and his boys are now living life. Do you think that's also a thing that kind of makes? Because you see it with like African artists as well. Some African artists, let's say, that as soon as the money hits, their lifestyle kind of gets to them. I know I've seen a couple artists who it's the same thing. Not even African artists, but even like UK artists, where all of a sudden the money's in their accounts and music is now on the back foot because they're living a lifestyle that they've always wanted. Do you think that's also like a contributing factor to it?
Potentially, but also now that I think about it, there was a time that a lot of artists were blocked from coming, like performing outside of Jamaica. So I think an artist was, I can't remember the name of the artist at the minute, but there was, you know, some homosexual kind of like rhetoric where that, you know, the country was basically like, no, we don't want you in the country. So I think there was a blockage at this point where a lot of artists could not come to foreign and they couldn't perform and they couldn't kind of expand. But yeah, I definitely think it might play a factor to the fact that, you know, you get a little money, you bust, you're gone to your head and you're not necessarily on the track anymore, but on the path to kind of like pushing yourself anymore, 100%. But yeah, I think it's just the time that we're in.
It still doesn't block talent. All right, let's not bombard Victoria with more dancehall stuff before the dancehall people come for her and all that. Moving back to Nostalgia Podcast, one of the things that you know, you have met many people, you have understood them, how music has shaped them, who they have become, and where music takes them to. So, is there a part in your life that is probably entangled with something you don't really want to talk about or speak about, but music always takes you there?
Wow. Wow. I guess so. Like, I feel like I've like life hasn't I haven't, you know, been growing up with a silver spoon in my mouth for the entirety of my life. And yeah, it has been challenging. So I feel like, I don't know. I don't think it's one particular song per se. I think a lot of life has been a bit, maybe as I'm coming out of my mid-20s, did things kind of stabilize for me. But yeah, life has been tough. So I don't necessarily feel like I have a particular song. I feel like music has been that backdrop for me, that escapism for me. It has been that motivation for me. It has been that solidifier for me to keep going and to keep like strong and keep the path and just to keep stable and on track, because yeah, I think that's what music has been for me. So it's hard to choose a particular song to kind of like wrap that up. It's always been there for me. I think that's why I have such a connection to music, because I always have to I always listen to it. It's just something that kind of keeps me even keel.
Speaking about tough times, I mean, you have done over 30 episodes for your podcast, which is big congratulations, because
Thank
a
you.
lot of podcasts don't actually get past episode 20 or 10.
Yeah.
And you mentioned how initially you started, then it was stop, start, and then you took it seriously. What was the hesitation at the time? What was drawing you back?
No hesitation per se. I think it was more. Life was lifing. Life was literally lifing. Like
In a good or bad way?
In a bad way. So like other things became more important that I had to focus on. So I had to constantly, like I would start and then I have to shift my focus again and start and have to shift my focus again. Even in the time that, I think it was like 2022, like end of 2022, I tried to start again. And then life threw something at me again and I had to shift my focus. So last year, despite the things that have taken place and I have to shift and kind of reconfigure, I was just like, you need to commit to this because this is something that you love to do. So yeah, just life was just doing its thing.
Just so that people know, what is the handle?
It is nostalgia.podcast on Instagram. And yeah, Victoria Pennant on Instagram as well.
There you go. So, I mean, I like what you're doing. Continue. It is, taking people back on that journey, making them realize certain things, gateways. It's a really good thing. It's a good platform. I've listened to some episodes, and you'll be actually surprised how music takes people to, like, a place that you're like, okay, wow. But in terms of, if you had been a very big dancehall lady, a dancehall head, as you described yourself, who are the 5 top dancehall artists you would love to get on your podcast?
Ooh.
Say it and say it to the camera, and you never know.
You never know. I'm gonna have to look these ones up. I'm not gonna lie.
While you guys are looking up, the song I was talking about, That's What Friends Are For, is Dionne Warwick.
Dionne Warwick.
That's the.
I would have never known that one.
Naomi, if you're listening to this, that's a song I dedicate to 2 of you, man. Dedicate to 2 of you. You can listen to that and understand.
I would love to get Armani.
Okay.
I would love to get. You're really putting me on the spot. I really wish you got me to prepare, man.
I didn't even think of this question till now. I didn't think I was
just off the dome, yeah?
Yeah, he never
prepared.
No,
but
never
don't prepare
prepares.
I love it.
It's just off the dome.
I love
It's
it.
the way we do it around here.
There you go. Is Popcorn a dancehall artist?
Yeah.
I'm surprised she hasn't mentioned it because I love that guy.
Yeah, no, he's
That's
someone
surprising.
I like.
I
yeah.
like Popcorn.
I'm surprised.
For
Movado, Vybz, Kartel.
me personally,
Uh-huh.
yeah, I would have him on there. But I'm talking about like artists that I frequently listen to and the artists that I would like.
I would say out
not
of
that
all
I
of
don't
them.
listen to him or like
No,
him.
he's
Yeah,
the
he's
classic
probably the
guy.
only one.
Who's
yeah.
that?
Popcorn. I
Popcorn.
think he's probably the one I listen to the most.
Okay,
Yeah.
nice. I will get Vybz when
Yeah.
he comes out of jail.
What's that tune?
So Vybz,
Valiant,
Armani,
Vybz, Armani, Valiant.
Valiant.
These are kind of like newer artists.
Is Dexter Daps considered
Or
dancehall?
DeMarco. Yeah, and DeMarco. I would get on the podcast as well.
Okay, so Armani,
Yeah.
Vybz when he comes out of
Vybz.
jail.
Yeah.
DeMarco.
DeMarco.
Who did you mention again?
Who else? Oh, and Idonia.
Anadonia.
See, these are people
I don't even know these
Yeah,
people.
yeah. I'll be so honest.
And she still didn't mention
Yeah,
Popcorn.
yeah,
She
she
didn't
didn't.
mention Popcorn. So, I mean, we move on to what we call Korak differentials. We just want to understand your different mindset about certain like cultures in London.
Sure.
And I'm sure this is because usually we've had people talk about different aspects. So, as a Caribbean lady, Jamaican, as you like to say, with a small hint of Antigua, since you're there, British culture, Caribbean culture, food-wise.
You're asking me what kind of cooked food?
No, what kind? Whose food is better?
You're really asking me this?
Yeah, I might know. There's some people, trust me, some people prefer pies to jerk chicken. I don't know what they're thinking, but yeah, that's what it is. But
Okay.
so what's your favorite go-to Caribbean meal, and why would you have that compared to any other British meal?
So I recently stopped eating meat. So I would say,
Hey,
yeah.
oh boy. Hi.
Health
We
reasons.
love vegetarians, people in Korak.
No, we do.
And
And if any vegetarian or vegan companies want to sponsor us,
sponsor us. We love you guys. There's nothing wrong with that. Just saying.
What's that? Corn?
Yeah,
Corn sponsor?
whatever they eat, man. We like it. But you stop eating meat. Why?
Health reasons, unfortunately. Yeah, I was diagnosed with chronic kidney disease about 2 years ago.
Oh, wow.
Sorry to hear
It's
that.
okay. It's okay. So I have to ease myself off the meat, unfortunately. But I'm pescatarian, so I do eat some sort of like something. But I will have like fried fish escovitch, which like with the escovitch was like this kind of like this pickle, and it's just spicy and just beautiful with bami and festival. That will be my go-to meal, and it's better because like it's just better. It's just fresh, particularly in this place called Hellshot. Like you go there, you pick your fish, like you pick your fresh fish that they caught, and then you just say, you fry it, you steam it, you roast it. I usually have it fried, and that's me.
Favorite. So, would you give it a choice? Money not an option. Everything there. Jamaica or London? I know the answer. I just want to hear you say it. And I want to hear your why. I want to hear your why.
Actually, to be fair, I'm a bit of both. I love Jamaica. I adore Jamaica. But because I predominantly grew up in London, I do love the hustle, the bustle. I do love the fact that London always has something going on. I can find anything, anywhere, and London will have it. Jamaica, because it is an island and it's not as large, there's not many things to do, but there's not many, I guess, variety of things to do. But I do love the fact that it is just a slower pace. So I love the fact that I can have a slower pace within my life. And I love going back every year. So I get the hustle and bustle, and then I go back, and it's just everything is slow. Everything takes its time.
So it's a balance then.
It's a lovely balance.
I mean, when I ask you, you're like, oh my God.
Yeah, but in Jamaica.
There's no point asking you about music because we know who you're going to choose.
Oh, what's that?
I was going to ask you who has better music, but there's no point asking you that because we all know who you're going to choose. So a few musical questions to go in just to see, and this is going to put you on the spot again as well. So
I have my phone ready.
Yeah, have your phone ready. All good. Best breakup song. As a girl that's broken many hearts.
Me.
Yes.
Best breakup song. Best breakup song. Damn. I don't know if it's a breakup song.
Or what's the song that comes to your head once you think of breakup? Once again, as a girl that's broken many hearts.
I think it's more a song that I would play after I've gotten broken up to is
Who would break up with you, Victoria?
it would be
Who?
Lauryn Hill. What's that song? Lauryn Hill. It could all be so simple, but you rather make it hard.
Yeah, big tune.
X Factor.
Yeah,
My
X Factor.
God.
That
That's the song that I would play if I'm heartbroken.
I would just play that any.
Would you just play that any day? That's like if I'm going through heartbreak, I would play that song. Yeah, when I'm going through it. Mm-hmm.
Best love song.
Ooh. Love song. I think, okay, right now, it would be Slow Down by Skip Marley and Her, only because I associate that song with my partner. So that would be that was like our early days. Yeah, the early times of us dating.
That's what he used to get you.
Maybe.
My guy. I like it. Best sexual song.
Hey.
Straight to the point. If one of your aunties is watching, I'm sorry.
That's
auntie.
fine. It's Come Over by Estelle. It's like not a well-known song, but like that song, just how she just like, her
Where
vocals.
Is Estelle now anyways?
Yeah, for real, where's Estelle?
Where is Estelle? I mean, I don't even think Google can tell us. Where is Estelle? She's not been around for some time. Went to America and that was it. American Boy with Kanye, and then there was a period and then boom.
Trust me. But no, that song was epic.
Okay. Best song you like to dance to?
Best song that I like to dance to. I think right now is Holy Ghost by Omale. Like I've been
Big
playing
tune.
that.
Yeah,
I've been
that's
playing
a
that
good
really
song.
quite frequently, and I will go in.
Blessing, didn't you go for an Omale concert?
No. You're thinking about Rema.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Just checking.
Yeah, you're thinking
Okay,
about
this guy goes for all this concert, doesn't invite me. No, goes for all this concert.
This
Omale-
guy, you go to all these concerts.
No,
and don't
I go
invite
for
me.
like
I invited you
internal
just
stuff.
to this last one.
Which one was that?
The last one. The up and coming guest.
Oh, okay. You win on that aspect. And who's your favorite artist at the moment?
Favorite artist at the moment.
It doesn't have to be dancehall, anything.
Yeah, definitely. I'm really feeling Cleo Soul at the minute. I've been heavy on rotation. Who else? It's been heavy on my rotation.
I'm gonna steal your phone, man. You have no
That's
answers.
fine. Sorry, because I just listen to everything. I swear you should have told me, and I would have had them like bam, 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 ready to go. I listen to too much music, so it's hard to go through it, man.
It won't be any fun if I told you. I honestly would have been able to tell you because I have no idea. It just pops to me like that.
It's fine. Yeah, Cleo Soul, I would say. Heavy on the rotation.
And just to go back to your podcast again, nostalgia.podcast, people, on Instagram. Victoria Pennant on Instagram. You can follow her and all that. Has there ever been an episode where there's a question you felt you needed to ask, but you didn't ask it for any particular reason?
Ooh.
Because I have this moment sometimes and I'm thinking, is there something I should ask here? But I don't want to base that. That's why before every episode, I always ask, like I asked you, is there something you don't want to talk about? Because, because my mind works in a very curious way.
Sure.
But as you said, the reason that came to my head is because you don't like to push people. You tap a bit. But as always, is there something that an episode finished and you felt I should have asked this question? I mean, you don't have to say who, but
I don't think so. No, I don't think so. I always take whatever the guest gives me, and I am grateful for what they give. Again, I might just a light tap or a light knock, and if they open up, that's great. But no, I'm super grateful for what they want to give and what they give, and I don't feel that I walk away just with a question. I guess the running question, or the question I'm trying to kind of incorporate into the episode, is what is that one thing that they want people to take away from this episode? I think that is a nice rounder for them to kind of maybe think about, okay, that was something that I want to say that maybe I didn't ask, or that they thought of while we have this conversation that they really want to like leave with. I think that's a nice rounder question. But no, nothing that I want to press on for too much. I'm just really respectful of people's boundaries and what they do want to say or what they don't want to say.
Well, Victoria, it's been an absolute pleasure. Thank you very
so
much. We like what you're doing with Nostalgia Podcast. The roots, the journeys, understanding people, how their life is going to go. It's an amazing podcast. People watch it. I want to thank you for being on the Korak. This is the Korak Live Music Events, May 30th. Are you coming? Be careful of what your answer is, because this part is going to be shipped to your Instagram.
Legit.
May 30th, Thursday. Tickets available.
Listen, I come back from Jamaica on the 26th. I will really make an effort.
Do you get jet lag when you come back from Jamaica?
Of course. It's 8 hours difference, man.
Yeah, but it's plenty of sun. I thought that just helps fry your brain. Okay. Anyway, this is the point we've all been waiting for, ladies and gentlemen. This is where BK Creative himself gets to ask you a question.
Nice.
Do you know what? The conversation's been so great. I don't even think I have a question. I think I would just like to ask, in terms of creativity, and the podcast, have you ever had, because we spoke about this in our last episode, imposter syndrome? And if yes, actually, yes or no first?
Yes.
Okay,
100%.
cool. How, as a creative, have you dealt with that? And if you could give some advice to that aspiring podcaster, what advice would you give? What tip would you give as an experienced podcaster now?
Remember your why. And always remember why are you doing it? Why is this important to you? What is your mission? Remember what that is and walk in with that, and always have that intention. And for me, I guess it's different for me because my podcast isn't about me, it's about people. So I always trying to think it's about what I can get out of them. What is the best that I can get out of them? not an awful kind of like, I'm trying to get a snippet. It's just what is a beautiful conversation that we can have through this situation. And it's taken me out of the situation, really putting the energy into them and just ensuring that I'm making them feel comfortable, and I'm allowing whatever to flow through. But yeah, just remember your why and really focus on that and just keep pushing with that is, my advice that I would give.
I really like that.
Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, there you go. Always remember your why. Always start with your why, and everything else will come into place. Victoria, thank you very much for joining us on Korak Podcast. It's been amazing. You're probably going to get a lot of the dancehall community and Afrobeats community that come after you.
Listen.
And I love you, and blessing to be there to fight and support for you. Yeah, 100%. I'll run and call the police just to make sure. You know how those dancehall boys are. We don't be throwing punches. But it's been amazing. Thank you very much. Once again, people, you can find nostalgia.podcast. Listen to the good episodes. And we'll love to have you again at some point. It'd be good to dive into more musical conversations and see what's happening.
Definitely.
Ladies and gentlemen, it's been amazing. So it's a goodbye from BK Creative.
Thank you for having me, guys. Really enjoyed it today.
Yeah, and of course, our wonderful special guest, Victoria Pennant.
Thank you so much, guys. Really appreciate it. Thank you.
All good, guys. I'm MC Sabi Boy. This has been another episode of Korak. More things. Woo!